Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am Mike Janda. I am glad you're back, and I'm glad I'm back. It's been a minute for me. I don't think I've recorded a video yet this summer. It's 2025. I got something for you today because I'm a little ticked about the design industry, and that's what we're going to talk about. I was on Instagram the other day, which is filled with all kinds of interesting feedback from the community. And what I found and what I started thinking about is how the design community is like its own worst enemy. Like, the design community is filled with the biggest haters who also hate the haters who hate on them. I'm gonna show you what I mean here coming up. We have this site right here, this Instagram channel called the Brand Inquirer. And this was just fed to me because, you know, Instagram doesn't show me any posts that I actually follow. They just feed me stuff that they think I might click. And I guess they got this one right because they fed me this post about the Range Rover rebrand that launched. This was yesterday, one day ago. And this post, kudos to the Brand Inquirer. They have 55,000 followers right now, but they're doing some kind of cool content. And it's news-centric on what's happening in the brand world. 5,405 likes and a whole grip of comments. And I started just skimming down. So I looked at this rebrand and I clicked through it. Before I read any comments, I clicked through this thing. And this is the Range Rover rebrand. And here it is on the hubcap. And here's a little pattern of it. And here it is on this tag, which I thought looked pretty cool on here. And then a little signage thing, and then a zoomed out piece of signage right here. So this is what we have to see for the Range Rover rebrand. And so I start scrolling down the comments, and people freaking hate on this. They hate on design. They hate on design. So I'm scrolling down. Here's one. Is this for real? Next one. I feel bad for the designer who did this, reading all the comments. As designers, we know clients' approval is final say, and they tweak and alter our work until they are happy with it. Would love to know if there was a different version presented and the client just came in with a bulldozer to it. So this is madhouse.ie. Mel, I'm with you on this. This is Mel, madhouse.ie. Mel, I'm so with you on that. This is the video that I'm making sparked by this exact thing. What we don't know about the Range Rover redesign is what went on behind the scenes. We don't know what the market research was. We don't know how the current brand is performing. We don't know what the competitive landscape research was. We don't know how the client interacted with the designer. We don't know any of the stuff that we should know before we go in and just bash on some rebrand. And to be honest, Range Rover, did they even have a logo before? All I know is Range Rover is the wording that just goes right above the grill on the front of the car. It says Range Rover. I don't know if it ever had a logo. Like, is there a Range Rover logo that I should be aware of because I haven't paid enough attention, perhaps? But I don't know what the Range Rover looked like, the logo. And here we have now a logo. And it's one R with another R upside down. Yeah, not very complicated, but it doesn't mean it sucks. And it doesn't mean that it merits all of this. Was this the same team from Jaguar, another one that got totally bashed last year. And I tried to kind of defend the designers of it and teach why they probably landed on where they landed. And people started bashing on me for trying to highlight where I think that whole thing came from. Not that I was saying it was good or bad or anything. I was just saying, here's probably what they were thinking when they were doing that. Here's one. This is first round student work. It looks like they settled for vanilla when I could have been any flavor. I think that when it could have been any flavor. This is when the creative director should say, this looks all right, but come back with a real idea. Something much more interesting and break through the clutter. Also, why is it applied to a gate? Why aren't we honoring legacy and heritage? Design jobs are so competitive, and yet this is what the big guys are rolling out. So lots of people, Let's just one bash after another. Designers, we're insecure in general, just because of this kind of stuff. You go to school, you put your designs on the gray board, and then your classmates start to critique it. And then we get insecure about showing our work. And now you get a job doing design work for Range Rover, and you get the same thing in mass from the creative community. And the irony is that the people inside here are probably getting bashed on by their peers, and they hate it. They hate it. Not all of them are getting bashed. I'm just saying, when you post your work, you're afraid that somebody's going to hate on it. All of you making bad comments or hater comments on this are all afraid that somebody's going to bash on your work when you post it on social media. It's just this insecurity. I know thousands and thousands of designers. I've hired hundreds and hundreds of designers in my career. And this is a common thread: insecurity based on being critiqued or somebody not liking the work. But yet, when somebody posts something like this, what do? You come out and bash on it. So I don't get that. I don't get that. Let's look at a couple others just to hit this home. Another one that got trashed: PayPal redesign. This was last year. And to be honest, I kind of like the PayPal rebrand. I like the big bold. I think it's more memorable than what they had before. And they didn't get rid of the logo. They kept the logo itself largely the same. Let me see if I can find a version of that. Right. Oh yeah, right here. So right here, they've got the logo, the original kind of logo of the overlapping P's. So that's still there. They just expanded the brand into what you're seeing on here. And you scroll down this, and it's like SB needed, not sure what that means. All of them, brand refresh, look like a copy of each other. Was better before. They shamelessly copied from Rye. The Rye Play logo is the same. I clicked the Rye Play. This is Rye Play. I don't see it being the same. I mean, maybe this R is what they're talking about. I don't know what this is and where it came from or anything. But this Play, we've got a slab serif on here and a sans serif on there. I don't know. Maybe Rye. I don't know. But you don't know either. That's, I think, that's the point. You got a designer in there, poor designer, out there trying to make their freaking client happy. And then the client coming in, bulldozing perhaps whatever the designer's doing. And then it gets posted on something like this. And then the design community comes out and starts bashing on it. Man, where's the love for each other? Where's the support? Where is the good work, designers? You had to polish a turd on this. Like the client wanted something rougher than what you wanted to give them. You gave 7 other designs that were better than this, and this is where you landed, and now this gets posted, and now the whole design community bashes on it as if you did a bad job, when all you were trying to do was navigate the freaking client itself. And here's another little piece of irony. I'm posting a video like this, and people are going to bash on this video. They're going to be like, oh, but if it's bad, it's bad. You should say it's bad, and that kind of stuff. Man, I don't know, man. There's enough hate already. Support each other in the design community. We don't need to be all bashing on each other, especially when you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All right, I'm not gonna just keep going over the same point. I do want to click on a few others. Google changed its logo for the first time in nearly a decade. Now, when Google came out with its new logo, this is maybe 2011 or so, 2012, maybe 2013. I don't remember. We were doing work for Google. They were one of the clients in my agency. They were a big client. They were the last 3 years of my agency before I sold. They were our biggest client. And we were there working for them during the brand transition when they came out with material design and actually became kind of a design first business, because before they were still using their freaking Times New Roman-esque logo from the early days. And that was the work that we started with for Google. And now they come out with this gradient version of the logo. So this is the one that they did maybe 2013, 14, something. It says since dropping the serif in 2015. So it was 2015 that happened. And now they go with this gradient. And I was like, I kind of like it. I like it fresh. And if you saw Apple talk about its liquid design that it's coming out for the new iOS coming, obviously to the new OS, and everything's going back to this kind of liquidy, bevelly thing that we had in the early 90s. Looks polished up since then, but I think we're going to see a lot more gradients like this coming up. Anyway, you go and you still have, I like it. This is Sarah Marshall, still recognizable, updated in modern times. Good. I like that, Sarah. Good for you. Makes it soft and gentle. I like it. Nice. It will be more difficult to print. Well, maybe Google never printed anything. Okay, valid. Keep the icons the same. Printed matter nightmare. This is huge. Gradients in 2025, groundbreaking. Yawn. It's nowhere to be seen in their social media, not even on the logo or on the Google design page. What kind of rebranding is it? A logo change that has not been propagated across the media channels? Oh my heck. Emoji, laugh out loud emoji. Still amazed they have an entire VP and design department for this. The workload must be utterly overwhelming there. Eye roll emoji, regression, blah, blah, blah. Come on, man. Come on, people. Why we got to do this? Why do we got to be bashy on these poor designers that are trying to do good work? And you know what? It's not bad. This isn't bad. The freak. This is not bad. This logo, not bad. This logo, not bad. Every iteration of Google branding changes over the last decade have been improvements. Especially the 2015 one was a big improvement. Let's look at this. Oh yeah, HBO Max. People love this. HBO Max went to become Max, and then they went to be back to HBO Max after a year. And what do people do on this? So we got Max rebrands again as HBO Max after just 2 years. Okay, 2 years. So a click through this. We got Max and going back to HBO Max. Click through some of these. HBO Go. Oh, here's the HBO Go, HBO Max, then to Max, then back to HBO Max. Returning the HBO brand into HBO Max is also a testament to WBD's willingness to keep boldly iterating its strategy and approach, leaning heavily on consumer data and insights to best position itself for success. Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay, Warner Brothers was one of my clients too. In fact, we did work for HBO too back in the day. They were a client back in the day. So HBO leaning heavily on consumer data and insights. And you scroll through this. Let's see. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Why is the X so curvy? Okay, we got a curvy X in there. Oh, brother, here we go again. I like when brands try and go back after understanding it was not a good move. Congrats. Good for you, Isabel DV. Isabel DeVoot. Isabel DV on Instagram. I agree. Why not applaud a business trying to make a change, seeing what happens, and when it wasn't successful, going back to what was performing better? There is nothing wrong with that. In business, we experiment. Why do doctors get to be practicing medicine? And why do lawyers get to be practicing law? And designers or marketers have to be like, we do marketing. Why? We practice marketing. We practice marketing. We practice design. We try things and see what works. And then we pivot. That's what businesses do. That's what doctors do. That's what lawyers do. And we figure it out over time. And that's what HBO is doing here. There is nothing wrong with doing that. Why do we got to be bashing on this? We watch because of HBO. Let it be HBO. That's the strength of the brand. Why change for the sake of it? Okay, Bjorn, I agree with this. And I would say that this comment holds better back in the HBO Max days, like why go to Max, just Max, and then go back to HBO Max. I agree with that, and I think that that would fit well there in that era. And still the app hasn't improved one bit and crashes every now and then. I don't have it crash. I haven't had problems with HBO Max crash. Soon to be known as HBO, probably. Good let's do that. Don't forget the HBO Go in Asia. Thank God. HBO Max, now just letter O. Some people trying to be sarcastic in here and stuff. Rebranding doesn't hold much real value for brands like these. It's more about reminding people they still exist. Probably some truth in that. Okay. Anyway, so that's the next one. People love being bashy. Not so much bashing on that, but there's some in there. Okay, this is an interesting one. King's Hawaiian unveils new visual identity for its 75th anniversary. So here's King's Hawaiian. These rolls are so good. I love this King's Hawaiian sweet roll. So good. Okay, so you got this logo, King's Hawaiian, and then you go to this. Now, looking at this to this, I like the change. I think it's a fresh change. I personally, I like it. Are the things I would tweak or would have art directed? Yes, probably some things in there, but this is what they went with, and I support the designers who got it to here, because who knows whatever happened behind closed doors during this whole thing. So let's go and click into these. This is the new packaging. Some mock-ups. Here you see a before and an after. The after is stronger. Looks nice to me. I like it. Okay, good job, designers at King's Hawaiian or whoever the agency was. Now we go into the comments. Why is everybody going for the corporate look? Where's the character? I think it's a good example of a successful rebrand that aligns even closer to the company's product than the original. Good. Okay, we got 28 likes on that. Good for little likes there. I like the font, very trendy and will look dated in a few years. I don't agree with that. I think brands like this can stay. They can stick for a long time. You'll see a lot of these kind of packaging food brands, food and beverage brands that stick for decades sometimes. In some way, it elevated their look. So good. Love the new color palette. Very nice. Is that Burger King is the question here. Photography, 10 out of 10. Agreed. I think that's mostly mock-ups. Nah, that's literally Burger King. That's what I'm talking about. Love it. Nice. Okay, so we got some support here, but you still get some haters in there. And we don't know the story. All right, actually got two more and then we'll quit. Okay, thanks for sticking around till here. Mexican bank Banamex unveils new identity after splitting from Citi. And you scroll down here, they did good. Nice rebrand. Muy bueno. I'm Mexican and a graphic designer. I don't like the new font. It looks poorly made. Typography seems disconnected to me, but otherwise the mark is nice. Actually really like the new typeface. Mexican graphic designer here. There's something about the typeface that doesn't work well. Typography downgrade, looks unreliable. This, after Paula Scheer's City, feels like a loss, honestly. And also, as a Mexican graphic designer, Banamex user, new rebrand and UI on the app isn't cool. People don't like change, and maybe that's what some of this gets down to. When change happens to something that they were used to, there's a natural adverse reaction to that. And then it sparks some people to quickly make comments on social media, ironically causing more insecurity in the creative industry as inflicted upon you by your own peers. And if you're one of those people, I would just encourage you to think twice before you go bashing on somebody's design. Some support is nice. You don't know what got them here. You don't know what got them to that final finished design. All right, let's go through one last one for fun. Oh, this Honda one. I didn't even know this happened. When was this? This was back in January of 2024. So I don't know how this one just slipped by me. I saw the big ones last year. Jaguar was the biggest of the bunch. Why did Honda change its logo? Going down. I don't like it by itself, but it looks cool when added to the car designs. Okay, let's click through and see the car designs. Now, personally, I like the new mark here. I like this new H. I like that it's broader. I like that it's a little bolder. I like that they got rid of an unnecessary rounded square on it. I like some of those things on it. I like it on this nostalgic mark. Resembles the original H mark from 1963. So all the people going back to bashing on, why not stay to the heritage and things like that of the brand? Well, this abandoned some of that, and now they are going back to some of that original. You see it here in animation, looks cool. Transformation as Honda aims to shift toward electronic vehicles or electric vehicles. Scrolling down, why does it look crooked though? Is one of the comments on here. And then LOL emojis. 3 of them. 3 LOL emojis from somebody who did not even put their own face in their profile pic. And that's what you'll see in as a common thread. But look at this H right here on that front grille of that electric car. And here's the Honda word. I think it looks cool, but this one had some reaction that was negative as well. People don't like change. That's one of the big things. You don't know what went on behind the scenes. You don't know what the client bulldozed. You don't know what the other comps look like. You don't know what the market research said. You did not do the competitive analysis. You don't know. You don't know the future vision of the company and where they're trying to pivot. You don't know the data of their business. You don't know if they're having a brand problem right now and it's reflected in their sales numbers. You don't know what the future of their cars look like for Honda. You don't know. They released a couple there, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know enough information to just go and be bashy. So I think I'm just kind of saying, man, support the other designers. Support each other. It's so much better. People quit. Good friend of mine has a ton of followers, and he said he's taken a break from Instagram where he has a ton of followers and he's on a social media break. I didn't ask him what caused that, but I can imagine that the freaking grind and then the comments and then the support this much and a little bit of bashy this much and then this much of algorithm that actually shares what you share. Man, I don't know. It's a tough world out there. It's tough enough without you being one of the bashers. All right. Those are some thoughts. Got a little ranty on this one. Some interesting rebrands. Hope you check them out. Check out the Brand Inquirer as the handle on Instagram. Check it out. Some content, keep you updated. I might use it again in the future because they're keeping me updated on some of these brand changes. Okay. If you have comments on this, let me know and give me the bashy comments just so we can see who you are, who want to bash on a video that's telling you not to bash. Just give me those comments and I'll try and suck it up and shake my head and I'll say, why you got to be hating on me for telling you to not hate on people? Exhausting out there. All right. Thanks everybody. Hit the subscribe button while you're at it and we'll see you again in another video soon. Later.